We're back, people, and today we're breaking up film on the Miami Dolphins offense versus the Colts. And not gonna lie, obviously, this was a tough one if you watch the game. Definitely the worst loss in the season, in my opinion. Because some of the other losses, it was like, yeah, you made a lot of mistakes and you played bad, but like, you were clearly getting outplayed by the other team. This one, I thought the Dolphins were clearly the better team, like on film, every statistical category, except the turnovers and the penalties. That's where the Dolphins really lost this game. Just too many mistakes being made out there because they were able to move the ball pretty well. They were running the ball. They ran the ball 40 times and were able to average like 4.7 yards per carry when they knew the Dolphins were going to run the ball. Like overall, I actually liked the game plan. Like I thought the play calling and game plan was pretty good for the most part. That doesn't mean McDaniel's like, can't be blamed, because I do think there are some things I would blame McDaniel for in this game that we'll get into. Like this is a failure top to bottom, but you really lost this game just based on those fumbles because it had a huge swing. The first fumble was the Colts' first touchdown, and the second fumble, you fumbled inside the 15, even though that was also a bad play call, I think, on McDaniel's part. For the most part, I liked what they tried to do. I thought they ran the ball very effectively. There's some personnel things that I'll talk about when it comes to the running back position that I also think we should get into, specifically Mostert and Achane. And then I think with the passing game, I liked what they were attempting to push the ball down the field, but the Colts played it well. I just think they need to add more, like I've been saying this one for a while, just like the basic concepts that every offense in the league run. They need to be doing that stuff more often throughout the game. Like obviously it shouldn't be like the main part of your offensive scheme, but just giving your quarterback some easy options, not necessarily like throwing screens, but like those curls, quick hitters over the middle, some slants. It's like give your quarterback an easy read, easy throw, make the defense have to respect that. And then once they start, not getting a bunch of depth, then you can start doing a lot of that, like play action, take shots down the field. But I think overall, I think I like where the game plan's at. Not necessarily like you need to run the ball 40 plus times. I think when Tua comes back, that will change, and thank God. I mean, at least there will be something exciting. And then the end of the game was a huge failure on everyone's part. Like, what the heck was that? But there was a lot of problems. Dolphins should have won this game. They were the better team. They lost it themselves. No one to blame but themselves in this game. Because, I mean, the defense played pretty well again, but the Dolphins offense just too many mistakes, put the defense in tough spots because they were running the ball downhill, getting after it. Liked what I saw. Here's the first play of the game. Dolphins drive down the field. On their second drive, they go play action. Huntley looked like when Huntley doesn't have his first read, he definitely looks shaking because like right here, he looks to the left, doesn't find it. Second read's Tyreek. He starts panicking. Like he has a pretty decent pocket here. Like this sack isn't on the line in my opinion. Like he's got 1, 2, 3 seconds before he starts to feel any pressure, and he's just not finding, like 1 wasn't there, 2's not there. He's just got to start to throw it away or rip this ball. When he gets back to 3, he's got to attempt to rip this ball to Malik. This DBX ends up falling down, but if he throws this out in front of Malik, like worst case scenario, like it shouldn't get picked. Like if he throws it out in front and leads him, it might get knocked down. It would be a tough catch, but like he should at least attempt to throw that or just throw it away, which I don't mind because you just like taking a sack in this area, it didn't end up mattering, but like usually this is a killer. Like this should have been a field goal. They were able to respond. I do like how the Dolphins are running less screens, but they ran them. Now McDaniel, like if they can do this with Tua, because I think that was the problem with Tua. The Dolphins were running way too many screens, not pushing the ball down the field, and like teams not respecting that anymore. That's got to like keep that balance when Tua comes back. Here it ends up working out, catching the defense off guard. I don't mind in this situation because they are struggling to score down in the red zone anyways. They get Jonnu the ball. Jonnu played a great game. He was definitely the best receiving threat. Great job by Armstead and Brewer to get blocks out in space, and then Jonnu to get in the end zone because that's like where he brings so much value as a yak guy. So they started out the game pretty strong here. Had a lead for a majority of the game. Just really killed themselves later on. And there's a couple things. Achane looked good. I thought Achane ran really strong. I liked the concepts they ran the ball with. They weren't doing crack toss. They were running toss plays, but they weren't running crack toss. So instead of having to capture the outside every single time you have to get to the outside on crack toss, now he's able to find cutback lanes, read that, 57 shoots to the outside, just reading end man of the line of scrimmage down, boom, leverage, find the hole, work off the back here. Good job blocking by Angle, Julian Hill there. Left side of the line does a good job. Armstead, Robert Jones, everyone just blocks really nicely here across the board, and Achan's able to hit this hole pretty hard, gain 10 plus. And the Dolphins didn't have any like crazy long runs. It was just a lot of consistent 10-yard runs. I think one of the biggest problems is Achan had a lot of touches in the first half. The second half, after the first drive in the second half, Achan only had like one carry, and he was the one running consistently. So I'm not sure why they went away from that. And also, we'll get into the Jalen Wright thing, because I think like if Mostert had like a hot hand, I understand going with Mostert. It wasn't like Mostert was playing that bad before the fumble, but he wasn't doing anything like spectacular. So I'm not sure why Jalen Wright didn't get more touches. Here, this is like kind of when the penalties started. It's tough to see, but they call illegal formation. Austin Jackson was aligned off the ball. You can kind of see like how far he was back already. So it's a legal formation, so this play doesn't count to begin with, just because of that. Huntley steps in the pocket. Julian Hill ends up with a drop. The drop obviously doesn't matter because the penalty is going to, get accepted if he catches it. But just another thing where it's like, hey, man, like, make this play, because if there's not an illegal formation, which realistically, does the illegal formation actually change anything? Like, the guy Jackson was on ended up getting chipped by the fullback anyways, so it wasn't like it really helped him do anything. This could potentially be bigger plays in bigger situations. You can't drop passes like this. Literally, he would have gained so many yards. Even if he was able to make one guy miss, it would be a touchdown. But yeah, that's kind of the start of where they get pushed back. Huntley not pulling the trigger here. This is one of the few looks where they have a chance to get this going. They're showing pressure pre-snap. They drop 51. Once he sees this guy drop and open up his hips to the inside, if he's able to identify that, this has to be out to Tyreek right away. Like, I don't know why he's not trying to rip this to Tyreek. Like, this should be one of his first reads. Boom, as soon as he identifies coverage. I mean, he's trying to look to the middle of the field where he's going, but Tyreek is open, and he just doesn't rip it, pulls down. And this is a 3rd and 9 situation, and then he doesn't end up getting it and gets tackled short of on the gain. Then you have to punt. So, lots of player stuff wrong. Like, and not to, like, admit, McDaniel definitely has some blame. Like, you can definitely blame the undisciplined stuff on, like, you can definitely throw some blame at McDaniel for that too. But I thought, like, game design and play calling, for the most part, there was a couple play calls I'll get to that were rough, but for the most part, I thought it was pretty good. This was a big play in the game. This was a huge turning point in the game. This was going to be the longest run the Dolphins had of the day, and they got called for honestly, in my opinion, a bad holding call. Like, I actually think this was pretty non-existent. Like, they were undisciplined and had a lot of calls that I understand were called, but this one was the biggest game changer. They blocked this up well. Smythe lets 51 shoot up field, get angled to block him up. Then he's able to climb the next level. Jackson, great job. Now, Kenny Moore tries to shoot back underneath and take that inside route, which he does. And usually in these situations, like, I understand why the ref threw the flag, because usually when this happens, the guy hooks him. But if you see the play live and you see it here, he doesn't end up hooking him at all. Like, he barely gets hands on him. He doesn't grab. He doesn't hook and turn him. He literally just barely puts hands on and then lets go once he starts to get past him. And Mostert gets to the edge, and they throw a holding call, which it should have been. That was a huge game changer, because now they got at least in field goal range, and this ended up basically ruining the drive. You had another run here. Eichenberg right here gets called for a face mask. This kills the drive, knocks you back even farther. Now you're all the way, this is a new drive. But after that, you get knocked all the way back. You have to punt. You actually at least would have had decent. If you don't get this flag, even if you don't convert, like, you at least have much better field position. This one, at least, this bumped you back and gave the Colts better field position. And just the whole, arc of the game were changing off these, like, back-breaking flags. Like, he just holds the face mask for absolutely no reason. And it would have been just, like, a nice, solid, like, 5-yard run, which would have been pretty nice after that pretty much non-existent holding call, which I feel like was probably the only flag in the game. I feel like the refs did a pretty good job for the most part, like, on both sides, except that one. That one was, like, by far the worst part of the game. And it was probably one of the Dolphins. It would have been the Dolphins' biggest play, I'm pretty sure. This one, I actually really liked this call, this design, getting, fullback wheel, play action. Definitely, they were having struggle getting people open versus play action. They get these people to bite down. And then getting the fullback open on the wheel there, when, like, guys like Waddle, Tyreek are demanding so much attention. And then good job by Angled being able to, hang on to it in that situation. Just wanted to show some of the good stuff where you can leak this out. It's especially when you have your fullback aligned literally in like they're in I formation. He is leaking out like this. Definitely pretty tough. And like good job by Julian Hill to sell this because he gets hands on there, and then he gets hands on this guy just to really sell the blocking without like creating offensive pass interference. Just to really slow this guy down, and it allows Angle to leak out of there and make a nice big play. Lots of positives coming from this. I thought the Dolphins did a lot of stuff here. They go into like some gap scheme stuff, like seeing them do this. They pull Eichenberg down. Armstead down blocks. He climbs to the linebacker. Achan's able to get the ball, and they do like same side handoff here with like on the gap scheme stuff. So usually you're running from the opposite side, but he does it same side. Work off the back of Eichenberg. Boom. See the hole. Hit it. Burst through. Achan looked quite explosive in this game, I think. He wore the guardian cap too, which was interesting. But they blocked up well, and Devon definitely took the opportunities and ran with it and had multiple 10-plus yard run. I'm just not sure why he didn't get more opportunities too in the second half. It feels like when he was on the field, or like they had Mostert on the field too often. I wasn't sure why Achan, they kind of just went away from him. Didn't really make sense to me. But they kept moving the ball. Huntley escapes the pocket, finds Jonnu outside of it. Felt like really Jonnu was the only one finding some success. Some more toss plays. Some lead toss here with Angled. Great job from Alec getting body on. I like how like they were playing physical up front. They were blocking well. They were moving versus not a great front here. Like how they set this up. Like Armstead gets past 94, slows him down just enough, then gets out to 44, kicks him out. Good blocking pretty much all around there from most of these guys. Jones does his job. Brewer is able to climb up to the linebacker, cut him off, and Achan just gets up there, picks up another 10-plus yard gain. The running game was working effectively. The game plan, the play calling, they were executing these run plays. It was just those dumb penalties that ruined a couple drives. It wasn't like the penalties ruined every single drive. Like they had drives where they were moving the ball. It was just those absolute killers. This was a 3rd and short. I'm not sure I love the play call here. This is one where I'm like, they could have gone somewhere else. I think they could have even ran the ball here, and potentially maybe even if you don't get it, you got it to even like a 4th and short and then ran the ball again. I understand why they try to throw this, and this was also just a big play missed. Like they actually get like this safety comes down. They're playing one robber, so he doesn't like it shows like they might play 2-man, but he comes down to play like as a one robber to sit in the middle. Huntley recognized this, so he makes the right decision to throw this to Tyreek. And it was actually, I think, a pretty good throw. If Tyreek locates the ball, he probably runs right underneath it. At least has a chance to make the play, or maybe draw pass interference too. Definitely missed opportunity. This one, I think, on Tyreek, just not being able to find the ball. He hasn't had like any catches. I know people will talk about like Tyreek and Waddle didn't have like any catches in the first half. They finished the game with like 1 catch each, basically. And yeah, I understand that. But like, the offense was able to move the ball just fine, and it wasn't like, and the teams were selling out to stop them. And I think, if Tua's under center, like, yeah, I would understand more of the outrage not getting these guys involved. But I think for one game, and this game specifically, it was fine for the most part. Maybe, using more of those basic concepts that I'm talking about to get them involved in the game. But really just missed opportunity after missed opportunity. And this was the first one that really just changed the game. Like, yeah, you missed some opportunities there, but you're still in control. The momentum hasn't flipped yet at this point. Like, you're still moving the ball pretty well. The defense is making their stops, and then you have this fumble, which would have been a nice gain, like a nice 6-7 yard gain. Mostert ends up staying on his feet. Like, sometimes you just got to go down. Like, it's obvious you're not going to get any more yards. Just go down. He stays up, and then loses the ball. Colts pick it up. They run this back farther than they should too. I end up cutting it off a little too early, but they get about to like the 30, and then they end up scoring their touchdown off of that. So that flips the momentum of the game. Now the game's tied, and really, really tough outing. Dolphins tried to work play action. Their linebackers did a good job getting depth. These guys, the corners, squeezed a lot of things, and there's just nothing there initially. Like, you try to come off of it. And then on the back end, they basically leave Julian Hill isolated to block a defensive end. Latu, the rookie, who's very good. And then it just wasn't there. The first read, second read, gone. He would have had to step up in the pocket. And the only way was been finding Waddle open late. But yeah, just really the passing game concepts. Like, I don't mind trying to push the ball down the field off these play actions. Like, they obviously work a lot of times, gain some big plays, but you got to be able to make the teams respect it. Clearly, the Colts were not respecting any of the underneath stuff, and then those types of plays just ruin the drive. So missed opportunities. And then Jalen Wright. Not getting Jalen Wright involved earlier, I think, was a mistake. I understand, like, maybe not getting rid of Achan's stuff because Achan was hitting good plays, but Mostert wasn't averaging anything like crazy running the ball. Jalen Wright looked good. Loved the cutback. Good read here. Dolphins running outside zone. Boom, identify, enemy line scrimmage. He sets the edge. A lot of the guys might bang up through here, but once he does that, he presses. He sees 90 start to commit. Boom, find that cutback lane. Stop on a dime, and then get upfield. Pick up a nice little gain. And these were Jalen Wright getting downhill. Nice. After the outside zone, boom, get down. More like, this is more like a duo type stuff. Tough to say, but definitely just getting downhill, working off this, get skinny, press up into your block, and then come out the end of it, burst, explosiveness. Jalen Wright continuously. And I did see a lot of people on Twitter saying, like, Jalen Wright didn't get any more touches after this big run. To be fair, he got the next 2 touches. After this, he got a carry and another carry, and he only gained like 2-3 yards. So it wasn't like he just went away from Jalen Wright after the big run, because I did see a lot of that on Twitter. But this one is tough. And then after that, they converted the third down to Jonnu Smith, another big Jonnu Smith play. But then this play, it's like, I don't mind, like, because right here people are like, why not just give the ball to Jalen Wright? I don't mind Achan being in the game. First of all, Achan was doing a good job. Jalen Wright did just get 2 carries after this. They didn't really gain anything after those 2 big plays. But why are we running fullback dive on 1st and 10? Like, I guess I understand what you're trying to go for. Like, you've run a lot of outside zone. You've run a lot of toss plays. So the teams might overflow, and you're trying to catch this guy off guard. But Raekwon Davis does a good job creating there at the point of attack. But, like, why are we trying to even run this? Like, Raekwon 1 has the leverage advantage on Brewer here. He's a 1-tech. And Brewer's trying to cut him off, which he does cut him off. But Ingold reacts to it late, is not able to get to the outside, then he gets hit by 41. And then he just fumbles. Like, I don't know why we're giving it the ball, like, on a 1st and 10 specifically, and we're giving it to, like, play, like, Ingold, obviously scored that touchdown last week. He's been playing good, getting good blocks, but, like, he's not a normal ball carrier. He's not a guy that you're trying to give handoffs to on 1st and 10. He can easily fumble. This play, it ruins, you're inside the 20-yard line. This also another momentum shifter. You had the momentum shift go away from you. Now the game's tied. Now you're in position to score 1st and 10. And this is like the one where I'm like, what are we calling here? And then your players just, fail you too because they fumble the ball. This is such a winnable game. At least with Tua coming back. I mean, obviously, I know a lot of people will say the season's over, and that's fair. I will still be watching. I've seen people turn games around. I'm not saying it will. I will make a video on Tua later this week. Potentially, like, will he turn it around? I think there's things that he will fix, but, like, spoiler alert, it won't fix all of it. The team could magically just all start playing better because sometimes it can just flip, like, the energy of the team. But, I mean, look at this passing game. Look how the Colts were playing them. Play action. Look how much depth these guys gained. They wanted the Dolphins to run the ball, and the Dolphins ran the ball well, and I would have ran the ball almost every play, to be honest, because, like, they gained depth, and this is just nothing there. Tyreek taken away, Waddle taken away, this taken away. Tim Boyle has to just throw it away. Just not there at all. Okay, and then in this play, Dolphins had some nice gains to get down here. They had a nice play to Jonnu Smith, couple nice runs. This is a 3rd and 1. Why running fullback dive? Alec Ingold already fumbled 1, right? Like, I understand trying to run a fullback dive maybe sometimes. Austin Jackson also deserves blame for here because he gets beat, and that's what blows up this play. He's the one who gets beaten at the point of attack. But, like, you've ran the ball well all game with your running backs. You've had more success running the ball with your running backs on 3rd and short and 4th and short situations. Anyways, the fullback dive worked in week 1, has not worked since on, like, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. It worked last week for the touchdown, but that was a 1st and goal play from, like, the 2 or 3. The team wasn't expecting it. That at least makes somewhat sense. Then you run fullback dive in 1st and 10, it doesn't work. Why are we running this? This was his one of the worst like play calls he had today. It was mostly good, right? Like 95% good. Game plan made sense. And then like if Austin Jackson blocks this up, maybe you get it. But like, why are we tempting to run this? Just get downhill. It could have been Mostert, Achane, Jalen Wright. I don't even care who the running back was. Just give someone a chance back there, or do something like not fullback dive, because the fullback dive has not worked since week 1 on these types of situations. And then it was 4th and 1, and they decided to kick a field goal, and they didn't get it. Now, if Tua was quarterback, I think they would have gone for it, because ever since, I mean, they've been struggling on 4th and 1. They've not converted a lot of 4th downs. I think analytically it said to go for it. McDaniel was listening to the analytics, and then after a while it just wasn't working, and he stopped. And like he wanted maybe to tie the game, whatever. It's not like it's the worst decision to kick the field goal there, but I still would have gone for it at the end of the day. And then here's the final drive. I just want to show this play just to be like, you see these basic concepts that the Dolphins don't run. They don't run like true drop back. You just go in shotgun, no play action, where you just boom, take a step back, maybe a 3-step drop, whatever. And then just look how much depth they're gaining. They've been getting depth all day. Just a quick little boom. Throw over the middle of Tyreek. That's how you get your playmakers involved. And obviously the Colts are playing, a little softer here because this is the end of the game. They're trying to keep everything in front. But they were doing this stuff throughout the game a lot too. And it, like, make them respect this. Even if they start squeezing this, make them respect it so then you can do some of the other stuff. Like, every team needs to have this, and I understand, like, if you look at the Shanahan system, they don't do this very often, and I think, and there's other teams that do this stuff too often, and that's their problem. But the Dolphins have the opposite problem of a lot of teams. And just, like, give them a chance. And I just wanted to also show this, like, because we're going to skip to the end after this play. They basically did this all the way down to the other side. But, like, what is this? This is 4th and 2. And there's, like, 11 or 12 seconds left on the clock. 4th and 2. You have no timeouts. In my opinion, you maybe have one guy sit at, like, the sidelines or something. And if he's open, just take it so you can catch it, convert, maybe get 2 shots at the end zone if you get, like, a quick option to get out of bounds. But, like, everyone else should be in the end zone here. I don't like the play call. Like, what's the point of Waddle here? Like, what's the point of this Waddle route? Him catching this right away? Like, are you going to catch it, get up, like, and then spike it? Maybe. It'd be a very difficult ask, but, like, why are Waddle and Johnny Nash going to the end zone? What's Boyle doing? He throws it out of bounds. Like, what's this decision? He reads what's going on here, and he decides to chuck it out of bounds? And, like, not even give Malik a chance, and, like, maybe start at the bottom. Like, one, he should see how this is being played. Pre-snap, he should be like, okay, if with the call, which I think the call is stupid, it should just be a Hail Mary. I don't care that's 4th down and trying to convert. Like, really, what does gaining a few yards get you? You're still going to chuck the ball up into the end zone. It doesn't really change that much. It might give you 1 extra shot to the end zone, but you might not even get a shot to the end zone like this. So I'm not understanding why most of the people should be running the end zone, first of all. Second, if Boyle's seeing this pre-snap, he's trying to throw the far hash out of bounds, and this guy's playing outside leverage and closer. He should at least try throwing it to Tyreek, because this guy's playing farther off the ball. It's a quicker throw because he's on the close hash, so he's to the boundary side here, not to the field side. And he potentially, if he throws this at Tyreek, he probably still, there's a decent chance he doesn't get out of bounds, but he actually would have a chance to catch this and make this guy miss and get out of bounds. So at least try that, like. But he throws it out of bounds. I don't understand it. And I don't know why they're not going to the end zone. This was like, so I would say, literally the 2 fullback dives and this play, I'm like, McDaniel, what are you doing? The rest of the game, pretty good. And I know people, people are obviously upset. I understand. I was very upset yesterday too. And still a little bit today, and people will talk about firing, I'm down to fire many people. I'm obviously giving McDaniel at least until the end of the year. Let him prove some stuff. I think some people are the hatred's a little over the top. Like, people are calling him like Adam Gase, Joe Philbin. Like, McDaniel's had more success than them. Let's at least give him some credit there. But yes, he has had his struggles this year. I think the last 2 games, game plan wise, he was on the right track though. The game they won, and in this game, even though they lost, the game plan was correct. There was just a couple things that he could do better, and then there was just undisciplined play across the board from the offense. People making too many mistakes. Does this, like, get turned around with Tua coming back? I think the margin of error allows, and I think you get, with Tua back, you're going to have more opportunity for big plays. You're going to have more of a passing game. You're going to put up more points overall, like just like your average wise is going to raise. You're going to be more of a big play offense. I hope he still sticks to what he was kind of doing in these games, not necessarily needing to run the ball 40 times, but with like what they're doing in the passing game, like less screens, that type of thing. Play action, actually throwing things over the middle. If they're taking it away, actually run a basic concept offense. Still hitting these big running plays, but man, definitely a very tough loss. The season could be very different if you're 3-3. Now you're 2-4, and like the Dolphins still have actually a pretty easy schedule, so it's not like they can't win some games. They probably will win a lot of games, but I actually feel like they're with Tua back, they're still not going to win, and like it's too much of a deficit, to make the playoffs. But I wouldn't be surprised if they get pretty close, which might not be the best case scenario either, because you might just want a better draft pick. But I will still be making these videos, breaking it down. Expect the defense tomorrow. I also might make I think tomorrow I might make an Achane and Wright video, because I think Achane and Wright should be the duo you want to go for. Younger, fresher legs. I think Mostert can still get some work, but he has a fumbling problem. He's fumbled a lot. And I really don't think they should lean on Raheem unless he's like super hot in a game. Like if he comes in and he's like breaking off long run after long run, then you can lean on him. But I actually do think like Achane and Wright should be like your go-to guys for right now, with Mostert getting like, a handful, but nothing too crazy. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.